If you guys are interested in these grips, I will leave a link in the description below on where you guys can pick them up. What's going on, guys? So today we got some parts for the Road Glide we're going to throw on here. We're going to throw on some grips, some contrast cut grips, and get rid of these stock rubber ones. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So as you guys can see here, I got tons of parts ordered up for the Road Glide. I'll be doing a bunch of different install videos and updates for you guys, but today we got these contrast cut grips that just came in. I actually ordered these off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below where you guys can pick these up at. But they're literally a quarter of the cost of Roland Sands or Harley. So I wanted to try this brand out. I will put all the information in the description below, but I have to say, for them being cheap grips, they have very good quality, and I'm very impressed with the fit and finish of it. And they do have the gear in here for the throttle by wire, so that it does have the little teeth in there for the gear, and I'll show you guys that here once we get the bike tore apart. But so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and install these contrast cut grips on my 2019 Road Glide. Before getting started on any install on these new bikes, any bike rather, I suggest putting down a towel, like a microfiber, on your tank so that you don't, just in case a screw drops or anything, you don't scratch your tank. All right, so the first step, you're gonna wanna take a T25 Torx bit and go ahead and take off, there's two T25 screws, one at the top, one at the bottom. You just wanna go ahead and take those off. Make sure you're holding the controls so that they don't fall down. So you also want to take this off. This is a T25 as well. You have to take this off in order to get the controls off. And just like that, you want to go ahead and make sure there's a little play in here, and make sure that the gear grabs both forward and backwards for the throttle, and make sure you tighten everything up, and then you're all set. Check out these contrast cut grips. What do you guys think? I'll put a link in the description below on where to get a set if you guys want them. They're really cheap they're pretty good quality too, I must say, for how cheap they were. Done. We're gonna go ahead and go over to the clutch side. And we're gonna do the same procedure, take the T25 screws out and pull this all apart, same with this one. And on this grip, you have to cut off because the stock left grip is glued on from the factory. So in order to change it, you must cut it off. All right, so one thing I wanna point out to you guys is once you get the front part of the switch cover off, in order to get the back part off like we did on the throttle side, you obviously undo these screws, but when you go to pull this off, it won't come off until you get this off. And in order to get this part off, you have to carefully slide it towards you and pop it off. But be careful because this piece does break a lot of times. Like I've watched a lot of install videos and people break these off. They're very fragile and flimsy, so you want to make sure that you slide it off without bending the switch because they do break, and then you'd have to buy a whole new switch panel. So I wanted to point that out, so be very careful on that. All right, so in order to get this piece off here, you want to take a little flathead screwdriver and pry up on it from the bottom, and then pull with your left hand, pull straight out. So pry up and then straight out. All right, so we went ahead and got the grip on. Make sure you guys, before you put the new grip on, scrape all the old access glue off if you are using the stock bars. I do have other bars coming for this, but for now I couldn't stand the stock grip, so I had to put something on there. But yeah, when you use, if you put grips on the stock bars, make sure you take all the glue off before you put the grip on. So we went ahead and did that, and then now we're just buttoning it up. Make sure that your controls are even on both sides and to your liking before you tighten everything up. But we're gonna go ahead and take our T25 and go ahead and tighten this up now. Alright guys, so that completes today's install on putting grips on a 2019 Road Glide Special. This is the same procedure you'd use on basically anything 2015 on up. It has the same, switches, mounting bracket, everything's going to be the same. So if you guys are interested in these grips, I will leave a link in the description below where you guys can pick them up. And now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna move on to the shift linkage. Harley puts a standard aluminum shift linkage on here. It's kind of ugly, so we replaced it with this contrast cut. I'll show you more when I take it out of the package, but it's a contrast cut black and silver shift linkage that we're gonna install right here, and just gives the bike a little bit more, you know, just looks better. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. All right, so before you install the new shift linkage, you want to make sure you have the right tools. So you're gonna need a 1/2" wrench and and a 7/16 wrench. So a 1/2" in the front, 7/16 in the rear to break this loose, and then back here you're gonna need a 7/16 wrench for that nut. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now, loosen it up, and take the stock shift linkage off. Compare the two. Here's the stock shift linkage, and here's the aftermarket one we're going with. It's black in contrast cut. I will put a link in the description below on where you guys can get this. Before you guys put your nut on here, make sure you go ahead and Loctite both bolts before you put your nut on both sides. Alright guys, so as you guys can see here, we got the shift linkage on, and you want to make sure you Loctite this bolt here and also this bolt here before you ride the bike. So make sure you Loctite those, and it's all set. What do you guys think? I think it adds a lot of character to the bike. I think it matches with the black and silver here, the black and silver on the derby cover here, obviously the fins on the motor. I really like it, and it's a lot cheaper than the OEM Harley one, and it's identical to the OEM Harley one, just without the bar and shield right here in the middle. So I will leave a link in the description below on where you guys can get this. And yeah, everything I do to this bike, I will put links in the descriptions below on each video, so that you guys can, if you guys want a certain part that I do put on the bike, you guys can go ahead and order it yourselves. And like I said, this is gonna be a YouTube project build for me, and I got a lot planned for it. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and I will have a lot more content coming on this Road Glide. So I just wanted to show you guys, it's like Christmas around here. A lot of parts came in for the Road Glide, so stay tuned for more videos on that. I have a whole bunch of parts ordered up, and a lot of them came today, but I have other stuff as well on order. So we're gonna go ahead and do some install videos on this for you guys, so stay tuned for more videos. Today we're gonna install these shift lever pegs, or shifter pegs rather, and it's the Burst collection from Harley. Basically it will match my grips here, and we're gonna go ahead and install these on the Road Glide. As you guys can see here, they do come standard with like a black rubber shifter peg, and I'm just not a fan. They do make a matching shifter peg to the floorboard, but I wanted to go ahead and match the contrast cut on the grips. So that's why we're gonna go ahead and install these today. In order to take the shifter pegs off, you need a 1/4 inch hex. I have the little sockets, 1/4 inch hex socket, or just a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. And you wanna go ahead and put it in here and take them off. I will warn you guys now that Harley uses red Loctite to Loctite every part on this bike. So as you guys can see here, there's some red Loctite on there. So they aren't the easiest things to get off, but once you put some pressure to it, they will come off. And Now that it's off, we're gonna go ahead and open up the new shifter pegs and put them on. I got one of the shifter pegs out of the package, and it looks to be that there's no Loctite on the thread. So we're gonna go ahead and apply some blue Loctite, just a little bit, and then go ahead and throw these back on the shifter arms here. And we're gonna do the same thing for the back and the front. So let's do that now. Alright guys, so we got the first shifter peg on, and what do you guys think? I think it looks so much better than the factory shifter peg. I don't know, these are just plain and ugly, so we gotta flavor it up by putting some contrast cut shifter pegs on, and these actually match my grips, so they actually turned out good, and I'm very happy with them. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same process that we did on the rear one, on the front one, and then call it a day. And that would be all right, guys. So what do you guys think? We now have both installed, and I think it really gives it a nice touch. It definitely adds some character, and I think they look way better than the stock ones. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I will put a link in the description below on where you guys can get these. I definitely think it adds a nice touch to the bike, and I'm happy that I went with these ones. So that's gonna complete today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more content on this, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next upload. Peace.